This is the Town of Lake Park, Florida private attorney-client session and special call commission meeting for Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. The time is now 5:37 p.m. Can we have the clerk please take the roll call?
Commissioner Linden? Here. Commissioner O'Rourke? Commissioner Thomas?
Present.
Vice Mayor Hensley?
Here.
Mayor Michaud?
Here. Can we all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, please be seated. All right. The commission will recess the special call commission meeting and go to a private attorney session. The Town Commission for the Town of Lake Park will have a private attorney-client session as authorized by subsection 286.011, subsection 8, in the conference room. It is expected that the attorney-client portion of the special call commission meeting will be attended by Mayor Roger Michaud, Vice Mayor Michael Hensley, Commissioners John Linden, Michael O'Rourke, and Judith Thomas, as well as town attorneys John Thomas J. Baird and Travis J. Foles, and town manager Richard Reed. The purpose of the private attorney-client session is to discuss pending litigation styled Forest Development P3 LPM LLC versus the Town of Lake Park. The attorney-client session is expected to begin at approximately 5:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as possible, and is anticipated to last 1 hour. Also, please be advised that at the conclusion of this private attorney-client session, the Commission will reconvene its special called meeting in the Town of Commission chambers and take up the business on its agenda. After the attorney-client session, the Commission will reconvene the special called commission meeting. And let the record show that Commissioner Michael O'Rourke is present.
We are in recess.
Okay, we are now reconvening our special call commission meeting. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. I will take a motion. Otherwise, if there are any modifications, please state so.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do we have a second? Second. We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The approval of the agenda passes unanimously. Next, we have public comment. I do have public comment cards. Let me take a quick look at them just in case. Okay, there is one for an agenda. Okay. We have one that's for an actual agenda item and I believe 3 for non-agenda items. So I will call the non-agenda items first. First, James Sullivan. And of course, you know, Mr. Sullivan and everybody else, our public comments are 3 minutes. Yeah, you feel like, Mr. Good evening, Mr. Sullivan.
I have 2 things I'm bringing forward. The first one deals with the Public Works Department and the great job Jaime has been doing. I meant to get with him back in March about the great job, but health didn't allow it. And he finally got concrete on Old Dixie Highway, that short, about 30 foot long or less, where I saw a lady almost lose her child and fall out right onto the rough street of Old Dixie Highway, which for a young baby would not be a very good landing. And Jaime did 2 things. He got the job done, and he got a second thing done. He did it without involving town resources. Either the state or the county did it. So he did a great job. And everybody should pat him on the back for it. And do you want me to deal with the second now?
Yes.
The second deals with mopeds and scooters and all this crap and the danger they present. And what I've done is passed out a pamphlet, or I should say my wife has, dealing with how one town south of here is dealing with it. And we should look at that and start dealing with the thing before somebody gets killed. Any questions on it?
No, this is only public comment week. We don't do Q&A. We don't do questions and answers. We only listen to what you have to say for 3 minutes.
But
the staff will reach back out to you with a formal.
One of the councilmen has been dealing with all that subject today also. The one on the end.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Susan LaFontaine.
Good evening, all. Thank you. Susan LaFontaine, 545 Evergreen Drive. Regarding the private event tomorrow, June 4th at 6 p.m. at 301 Lake Harbors Tower South, one of their residents shared the invitation to me to meet and greet the mayor, town manager, PBSO Captain Sanford, and our community development director and assistant, which is a private event which is being hosted by this Waterfront Condos HOA board with invitations only to all communities along Lake Park seawall. While this event doesn't appear to be illegal, and I presume all of the staff attending, along with the mayor and Mr. Reed, are exempt from requiring overtime pay, so the town doesn't have to pay for that, it certainly gives, in my opinion, the appearance of special treatment to the residents of the included gated communities while excluding the rest of the town, especially since the mayor has already had 3 Saturday morning meet and greets for the same purposes in the past few months, with open dialogue for any issues the attendees want to discuss, most recently in April. Again, these were open to the entire town and were also attended by some of the town staff and Captain Sanford. Some of the discussion at this private event tomorrow is bound to be about the seawall, since the last time it was discussed in public, per records I can find, was a year and a half ago at the January 2025 Seawall Forum. And as stated by residents living along the seawall at that forum, it doesn't just protect their property, it protects the entire town. So the entire town should pay for its upkeep and upgrades. Shouldn't the entire town be able to share in the open dialogue about the seawall that's going to happen tomorrow night and not be limited to 3-minute public comment at an upcoming commission meeting? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's all for the public comment cards. Again, I do have another public comment card for an agenda item, and we will bring that up at that time. Next, we have the consent agenda. We have 2 items on consent, and I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to move past the consent agenda.
Do we have a second? Second. We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The consent passes unanimously. Next, we have public hearings on ordinance on first reading. We have one there, ordinance 07-2026, an amendment to land development regulations, rezoning from R2 to C2, PBC parcel control number 364342, 2001, 048, 0300 on first reading. Good evening, Mr. Anders.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Anders Vian, Community Development Department. This is a applicant-initiated rezoning request for 0.25 acres of property along Silver Beach and 10th Street. The request is being brought forward by Michelle Invest, LLC, pursuant to a site plan and special exception request, which will be before you on June 17th. Staff has evaluated the request proposal, and based on our evaluation criteria for applicant-initiated rezonings, we find in favor of the request. The underlying future land use is actually already commercial, so it's consistent with the rezoning from R2 to C2. And I think I will turn it now over to the applicant so he can make a brief statement, and then I'll answer any questions you have.
Okay, thank you for that, and welcome tonight.
Hello, good evening. Thank you so much. You know, you've heard this expression, sometimes you can't express things in words. I am thankful, joyful, grateful that we are here at this point. I know that the planning started a couple years ago.
If you can make sure just to introduce yourself.
My name is Dr. Michelle. I am the owner of the preschool, Twigs Academy. My wife is actually at the school right now finishing up some paperwork for the end of the month. I know that she would have loved to have been here, but hopefully I can actually continue to present her with all the things that's been happening in the meetings throughout. But like I said, I am definitely thankful that we are at this point. The picture that you see here on that lot, there's a building right next to Twigs Academy. Probably about 25 years ago, Twigs themselves actually started this process to actually expand the school. They actually went through a difficult time. Although they went through the entire process and it was actually approved and rezoned, that financial hardship actually stopped the expansion. So that building that sits next to the school has been vacant for that many years. So we are at this point now where we actually are able to actually move forward with the expansion and provide something that is definitely needed in Palm Beach County, which is kindergarten readiness, which is a huge need, not only in Lake Park, but of course in Palm Beach County. So thank you guys for listening for this rezoning. We're thankful for everything that you guys have done, and I really appreciate the time. And
just to clarify, the rezoning that they're going to be doing, the other two lots that are there, I believe that's two lots that are contiguous with it, they're already zoned for that same zoning, correct?
Yes, there's one along 10th Street primarily, and then there's one kind of at the corner of Silver Beach and 10th Street, and they are already C2. So this rezoning will allow for the uniform redevelopment of the site under the C2 regulations.
Will this create any future replatting?
Well, so once the development order is approved, or if it's approved, then the site would utilize the unity of title, or they could utilize a replat to unify the site.
That being a unity of title or have a replat
Yes.
the entirety? Okay. Any other questions? Commissioner O'Rourke.
Yes. I'm in favor of this, but the one question I have is, we had discussed a couple of meetings back that we would give public notice by posting notice at the site. Is that going to be done here?
Not for the rezoning, no. The rezoning was noticed pursuant to our code requirements for rezoning.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And again, this is just simply for the rezoning for I believe the lot is facing Silver Beach. It's the easternmost lot there. The other two lots that are contiguous to that lot, which is on just the west end of the subject parcel, as well as the parcel that lines along 10th Street, are already zoned for this same zoning that that the applicant, I guess, is looking to rezone.
Correct.
And it's as simple as that. So if there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance 072026 on first reading, amended the Town Land Development Regulation, LDR, and rezoning and property for R2 to C2, PBC parcel 3643 42 2001 048 0300.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ordinance passes unanimously. Town Attorney?
Ordinance 7/2026, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Lake Park, Florida, rezoning a parcel of real property as shown in Figure 1 and having the parcel control number as listed in Exhibit A from residential R2 to commercial C2, providing for an amendment to the official zoning map to reflect the rezoning to C2 and providing for an effective date.
Okay. Thank you for that. We have nothing on ordinance on second reading. However, we do have three items on the new business. The first item is Resolution 450626, an agreement piggyback approval purchase of one front-end loader sanitation truck by Nextran Truck Setter for $403,723. Town Manager?
While
And-
the Public Works Director is on his way up, this is, we've talked to you guys about this previously. There is a vehicle that is available to us. It is included in your capital improvement plan, not this year, but a few years out. So this would expedite that opportunity to purchase and improve our levels of service and reduce our overall maintenance costs and downtime of our vehicles. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Morales.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jamie Morales for Public Works. If you all recall, a couple of meetings ago, we spoke about Unit 56 and the challenges that we were having with this unit and the costs associated to the constant repair to this unit. As an effect, Nextran had reached out to the town and mentioned that they have a unit available. This unit is within our CIP and is programmed to be purchased in FY28. Due to the fact that we have 56 has been constantly out, I did a cost analysis, which it was included in the package, and due to the age of it, I was recommending to expedite the purchase, if possible, from 28 to this fiscal year, in order for us to acquire that unit that is currently available right now in their shop.
And our tent, we did have the funds allocated already initially for 2028?
That is correct. So what we did was we have for this year, for following year, which is FY27 and 28, we were ready to purchase. Instead of doing it that way, what we did is we're proposing to purchase now. We have funds allocated for this fiscal year, so we could purchase this fiscal year, do payments, and do it vice versa. With that, we locked in the current rate that we have with TD equipment, which gives us that opportunity to secure that rate and not expose ourselves for a higher rate in the future. And also, we guarantee the current price that we're being offered today and not take the risk of a escalation cost in FY28.
So just to re-stress those little particulars you said, so that way it's really heard, by locking in now, we're saving ourselves costs in the future that could inflate
That is correct.
by locking it in today. We're also taking what was initially a 2028 truck, moving that up to 27, and in turn taking the 27 from the CIP to now to take advantage of it at the rate that we have it now.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay?
Actually 26, so it'll be current budget.
Yeah.
Correct. For
But-
thank you
and-
for that.
No,
26.
sir. And then also, as you're aware, initially when we came to you guys with the first truck that had already been approved a number of years ago, we had an interest rate, I believe it was over 6%.
Yes.
We're now, I think, 3.4, 3.8, whatever the number was, I forget. So there's at least a $30,000 to $40,000 savings just in interest over the 4-year term that we're looking to purchase this vehicle. So by doing that, our local bank, TD Bank, who we're working with in this, if we go forward with it, there'd be a savings on the interest. We're purchasing at 2025 rates through a competitive purchase that was bid out statewide, so we get those savings as well, rather than us competitively soliciting prices. And of course, we save all of the maintenance costs that we're seeing on these vehicles all the time. So it's significant.
And when did we secure that cost, that change of interest?
Well, we're going to be doing that now. We're going to be doing that
Within this?
in a follow-up item.
Okay.
But this all came to us when we went to TD Bank and a number of other local banks and asked them if they had an interest in financing, our vehicles. TD Bank came in at the lowest rate, and I believe it was 3.2, 3.4. Barbara. But it was significant from the vendor that we were using previously or plan to have used.
That first truck was, Barbara Gould, Finance Director, that first truck was 3.4, I think it was 4.2 or 4.6%.
Okay.
Yeah, something.
And if we, and just by understanding this, if we don't take this initiative now, there could be a chance we could have lost that opportunity, correct?
Yes, it may be a possibility that in the future we have a higher rate and the market cost or the escalation cost for the unit may increase as well.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could. So right now we're purchasing under a 2025 contract that is active and open through the Sheriff's Association cooperative purchasing. So if we don't have this opportunity and it ends up being in 2028, of course, we won't be operating on and purchasing on prices from a year ago. It'll be, so we'll see probably a significant increase there. We don't know what the interest rate is, which will have a loss of, or an increase in cost we expect. And then we'll continue to be absorbing the maintenance costs, until we purchase that vehicle.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're expediting this process quickly.
Yes, sir.
Because time could be of the essence, and vendors don't wait for anybody unless the money is ready to go. I know we all know that.
And if we get approval tonight, the vendor holds the vehicle for us, and then the financing will come to you.
Okay. Commissioner O'Rourke.
I know there's two vehicles. I'm going to ask this for both. I know we haven't gotten to the other second one yet, but is there warranty issue coverage for these vehicles for service and repairs?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and that's included with the price.
That is included.
Excellent.
Actually, we added the extended warranty. in that.
Excellent, thank you.
No. Commissioner Linden.
Again, like Commissioner O'Rourke, both vehicles, they gas or diesel?
Diesel, Commissioner. These are diesel. These are the sanitation trucks.
I'm sorry,
These are the sanitation trucks. These are the diesel ones.
these are diesel?
That's correct, Commissioner.
We had this whole big discussion about diesel, and we were supposed to go back on and rebid or something for gas.
So the one that we went out for bid, just for purposes of correction, Commissioner, was for the sweeper. That's the one we went out for bids. That's the one we spoke in last commission. These are for sanitation trucks.
And one is diesel?
Excuse me?
One of the two are diesel?
No, these both units are diesel units.
All right, I don't want to drag up all the problems we had before with the arguments on diesel, but I thought the general consensus was we were going to gas vehicles and not diesel.
Okay, so there may be a misunderstanding. The sweeper that we presented in the last commission meeting, which I was requested to go out again for bids to ask for an electrical option.
Electrical, all right.
Yeah, electrical. That's the one I will present as bids come in. These are for the big sanitation trucks units, and we're going off the Florida Sheriff Association's contract, and we're selecting the diesel units. Now, if we want to go with the electrical units, there is an electrical unit, the body without just the chassis, without the body and those elements, it starts at just the chassis at $400 and something thousand. That is without adding all the other elements, the box, the motor, and all the other components. So it could come out at probably $800, and then we have to build the infrastructure to support that type of unit, which we don't have. If you want, if that's the appetite of the commission, I'll go that route.
And the vehicles, the trucks they'll be replacing, are they diesel also?
Yes, sir.
I have a follow-up question. Do we have any training plan in place for our drivers to educate them on how to drive these vehicles and maintain them to prevent future breakdowns?
Could you clarify and specify what type of maintenance are you referring to, Commissioner?
The door closed. I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Could you clarify and specify what type of maintenance are you referring to?
General everyday maintenance, the stuff that we can do that's not under warranty.
Well,
do we have any training plan in place for our employees so they don't do something incorrectly?
Well, our employees are trained on two things. One, to operate the equipment, and the others to maintain the equipment. Regular maintenance, whether it is oil, filter, and such, we do have team members. But since the unit is under warranty, certain warranty covers those type of services. Now, if it's related to mechanical repairs or specific maintenance issues, there are some priority or let's say license within only companies are allowed to modify or correct or repair any component because it's under a warranty. We would not want to take the risk of us performing any type of repairs if the unit is under a type of warranty, because we could then waive that warranty.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Commissioner.
Okay. Vice Mayor, do you have any questions? No? Are you okay over here?
Motion.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 450626.
Do we have a second? Okay.
Second.
For the record, Commissioner Thomas seconded. Do we have any further discussion?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner O'Rourke.
Jamie, thank you. Town manager, thank you. This is one of the best things that's happened to this town in a really long time. This is an incredibly timely and really needed purchase for our town. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And to piggyback off of Commissioner O'Rourke, this will only help suppress the maintenance that could occur as the truck age. It's at its infant stages, so we won't see any of that. And that's a big positive.
Yep.
Very forward-thinking.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything on this side? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, real quickly,
Sure.
if I could, and I know we're going into another item with regards to the vehicles, but one of the ideas I think that Jamie has talked about is having the new vehicles available before a meeting, so that you guys in the community will be able to see what these vehicles look like and compare them to what the current vehicles look like, so that there's a real understanding of where that need really has come from. And I appreciate the effort Jamie and his staff have put in to try and, to improve where we are on it. So thank you, Jamie.
Well, I think it would be a better idea, instead of a key to this city, we could give one of our residents a key to one of the trucks just to start it up, yeah.
Or give them the old one.
Okay, sorry. I had to have one joke.
Okay. All right. Next, we have Resolution 470626, Lease Purchase of Finance Agreement, 2026 Mack LR 64R Sanitation Truck with 2025 Heel Automatic Side Loader ASL from TD Bank for $393,889. Jamie?
Yes, this is the unit that was approved back in 2023. This is the one of the, because we're still missing one more for stormwater, but within that time frame that the commission had already approved that we're backlogged, we have it. It's in Nextran, and we're now presenting the financial component for us to move forward to purchase the equipment.
And I'm going to ask you first. The funds are already allocated for this purpose.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay, and that is for the warranty also.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay. We get the particulars out of the way so that we can move forward.
And Mr. Mayor, this is at the lower interest rate. That's a savings from where we were with the previous vendor.
Okay. Nope? Nope? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve 470626.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the resolution passes unanimously. Thank you, Jamie. Next, we have Amendment FY 2027 for the Town of Lake Park pay grade chart for a building official. Nadia, I know you're going to present this.
Thank you.
Please begin. And also, just for the record, I do have a public comment card for this particular item. No, you first, please.
Good evening, Nadia DiTomaso, Community Development Director. As the mayor introduced, this is an agenda item proposing a job description for a building official. Essentially, the objective would be to look into the possibility of bringing the building official in-house as opposed to having contract services for the building official. The main objective is really to have better oversight, be able to better streamline the procedures that are in place in the permitting division, as well as better control, in the operation and from a budgetary standpoint. I do have a few slides that were put together, and a copy of the presentation was put before you this evening as well, that I will go through in just a few moments. But just to give a brief summary, as was indicated in the agenda request form, the Human Resources Department, in consultation with our department, of course, and some additional internal discussions, has identified a need to propose the new in-house building official in an attempt to cease utilization of a contract, which currently, of course, we have a contract with CAP Government Services. The intended in-house building official position, if approved, would commence next fiscal year. Ideally, if we do move forward, we're hoping to get them on board as close to October 1st as possible. The existing contract with CAP does expire right at the beginning of January of 2027. It will also be included in the proposed budget, of course, if it does move forward, for which permit revenues will be used to fund the position. As they are currently, of course, the permit revenues are also being used to fund the CAP government services that we receive for the building official and plan reviewers and inspectors. By Florida state statute, we are required to use permit revenues to fund all permitting division expenditures. So that will not change. In addition to an in-house building official, and since volumes do fluctuate from one year to another, and I do have some slides that kind of show some of those fluctuations, it will be important to also secure a contract on an as-needed basis. This does not mean that we're always going to need some additional services. However, if we do have one building official who's performing all of the inspections and all of the plan reviews, there may be some times where the building official is out, or where we do have a larger volume because we have a much larger project that requires some additional assistance. So if that were to be the case, an additional contract on an as-needed basis would need to be looked at as well, but of course that would also need to be capped so that there are only a certain amount of hours on an annual basis that would be dedicated if needed on a contract basis in the absence of the building official. So just as a general breakdown, and I have this in one of the slides as well, the salary based on the job classification that Human Resources put together for the pay grade 170 would be the $140,000. The benefits, which the Human Resources also surveyed several municipalities to look at what the average salaries are for building officials, and it fell into this pay grade. There would be a benefits estimate that the finance department calculates at about 42% of that. And then, of course, we have transportation needs, IT needs, continuing education, and uniforms. All of that together would equate to approximately $211,000 on an annual basis. If we were to have the contract on an as-needed basis as well, a sample contract was included based on our discussions with Safe Built, who offers these types of services on an as-needed basis. Their average hourly rate is $128 an hour. So just I'm kind of emphasizing that to put things into perspective. If we were to go entirely on a contract basis for the position itself, it would generally be significantly higher on an hourly rate, all depending on how that particular contract would be structured, of course. So if we set aside, 416 annual hours, which based on our discussion seems to be reasonable if we do have a need on a fill-in basis, that is roughly $53,000 a year. So just to briefly describe some of the work that the building official would be required to do. Of course, it would be all inspections, all plan reviews, building, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, gas, anything related to the Florida Building Code. That individual would be responsible for the enforcement and the processing of applications associated with the Florida Building Code. A sample job description was also included in the agenda packet. And with that being said, I'd just like to go through some of the numbers that we put together today, just to show the applications that have been taken in over the last few years. Once I get this going. Okay. And we can go back and forth between the slides, but the number of building permits issued. What this shows is throughout the last 5 years, as well as the current year, 2026 year to date. So in 2021, we had 1,600. Sorry, I'm on the wrong slide. So in 2021, we had minimum value permits versus all other value permits. So the way our structure is set currently is we have a line item for permits that come in under the minimum value, meaning their value is below a certain threshold, and that was 264 in 2021, 446 in that same year for a total of 710. If we run through that same logic for years 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26 year to date, we're looking at numbers that kind of hover around, 600, 700 on an annual basis. Current year to date is 335. We anticipate we'll be close to that 600 number as well this year. This number does not reflect any sub-permits that are issued under the master permits or any administrative functions such as permit reissuances or renewals that we also perform, on an as-needed basis. On the next slide, not sure why it's not working.
There you go.
On the next slide, we have number of inspections conducted per 12-month period. So here we have in 2021, 1,633. And then, of course, it went up in years 22, 23, 24, and 25 because we did have a much larger project during those years. And then 2026 year to date, we have 944. And we anticipate that by the end of this year, we, of course, will be closer to that 2021 number as well. So when we kind of do just a very brief calculation, if we just use 1,600 inspections per year on an average year, meaning a year where we don't have a large project, it's just an average permit processing year, that over a 12-month period, calculating around 20 working days per month, you're looking at about 6 to 7 inspections per day for a building official. And then on the next slide, maybe it's the battery. Okay.
That's the average.
On the next slide, we have a series of numbers, but I'm going to focus in on the total revenue number for each of the years. So as we can see, on an average year, in 21 we had about 638,000. In 2020 and 2021, and then in 2021-22, we had a larger project. So that was a unique year. We probably won't see that type of revenue every single year. And then in 22-23, again at around 632,000. 23-24, we had another larger project come in, so that was 1,249,328. And then in 24-25 and 25-26, hovering around 350,000, but keeping in mind that the 26 year is only through today. So that number will definitely be higher than it was last year in terms of total revenue received. The distribution under our current contract with CAP Government Services is, of course, roughly 70% in any given year of the revenue line that I just read. In year 21-22, it was higher because they received 50% of that larger project revenue per their contract. If we were to take that in-house, and again, just as a reminder, all of our revenues, our expenditures and our revenues have to balance out per Florida state statute. If we were to look back at that $211,000 number that it would cost for a building official, and then even if we receive an as-needed contract for any additional services that may be required, we're hovering around $270,000, which would be covered under the total revenue, even on an average year where we don't have the larger project revenue coming in. Nothing to add on that? No, okay. So all of this to show that bringing the building official in-house would allow for, as I started off saying, more control over the operation side of it, but also allow for a budgetary reduction on the expenditure side for the salary, leaving, some additional funds available for training, for education, or any other services that the permitting division currently undertakes or may need in the future. And so that summarizes the presentation for this agenda item. Staff does recommend approval of being able to move forward with this job description.
Mr. Mayor, also, just a couple quick things. Nadia, can you go back to that last slide before this one?
Yes.
One of the things that I think it's important to see is that, we're spending, in this year alone, year to date, we've spent almost $250,000 for inspection services.
Where is that?
Go back.
The last
Yeah,
year.
right there.
We're good.
Right there. So
that
you see the
figure right
2025, 26, see down at the very, very bottom, $245,368. That's what we've spent today. We have a contract with a vendor that we renegotiated a few years ago. We went from 50%, 50-50 to 70-30. We have tried to renegotiate that back down. There's not a willingness to do that. In fact, Nadia was notified that they're looking to actually go the opposite way than where we want to go. They want to go higher. What we're proposing to do is, this is a very difficult position. It's a very specialized professional position, very technical position. There's not very many building officials that are out there. I anticipate that if we received approval tonight, we're not going to hire someone even tomorrow, maybe even not a year from now, but we need to try. The recommendation is to try because over these 5 or 6 years, we've spent over $3 million in inspection services. And had we spent the $211, we would have been closer to $1.2 million. So there would have been a $1.8 million savings, or up to that we would have had at least 40 hours a week of service, where right now we're paying a vendor only for their time when they're here. So if a resident comes in, we don't have a building official here to educate them and work with them. So this would also contribute to improving our levels of customer service, help us to reduce our costs. And remember, these revenues that we see here cannot be utilized in the general fund for sanitation. By statute, permit fees are only for permitting expenditures. Now, if we have a savings, we can use those dollars to educate our community, train our community on how we can do things better with businesses and growth and development, which we haven't had the opportunity to do because we've been spending the dollars on a consultant. And so what we're looking to do is at least have the opportunity to have the control over it, improve our levels of customer service, manage our costs, even now, with what's going on, and be able to train and support the needs of our community. By doing this, it doesn't mean that we would necessarily have to go and bring in a full-time staff member either. We might be able to work with another community and do half-time, with another smaller community. But I think it's time that, we have these, we have these cost-benefit analysis, reviews of what we're spending. And when you look at it cumulatively, it's significant. And those, that up to $1.8 million could have been used for technology purposes, for a lot of different things that maybe we haven't been able to do before. Until we get a building official, if you guys were to give us that approval to go forward with it, we would still operate under a contract until we purchase, we secure that. And we still would probably have to have a contract in case as backup. But what this also will allow us to do, and frankly, it'll give us more leverage when we do talk to other entities and contracts. If we get a better deal on a contract, we won't do this. But right now, we're spending a significant amount of money to have services that are not even full-time for us. And I think that's where we're coming from on it. And we want to bring these types of items to your attention where we can improve our cost of delivery, our cost of service delivery, and improve our levels of service delivery to our residents and to our businesses and to our new development companies that are coming in. So that's where we're at on it, and why we're bringing it to you.
This salary range that you have here, this pay grade, was this reviewed by the industry for industry standards?
Yes, that was reviewed by HR.
Okay. And
And we compared with what other communities are paying.
more comparable to us, correct?
Well, a building official in this case it's regardless of the size.
Okay.
These are the types of positions that you can't just kind of bring someone in and just say, hey, in a couple years, you're going to be the building official. You have to have licenses. You have to have years of service and hours working behind other trained professionals. It's incredible how consolidated this business has become, because the corporations and these companies that we're hiring are able to offer so much money because they're pulling all the building officials off the market.
And just as a historical component, and maybe Tom, you can answer it because you're probably the most senior out of everybody. Well, has there ever been
Seasoned.
And I mean seasoned, better. That's a good way to put it. Has there ever been a building official here? I mean, I know in my tenure it hasn't, but prior to me.
I do not recall one. I think it's always been a contract service.
Okay. And of course, with the contract service, when you re-up the contract, it's always going up. Where in this case, we already have a set parameter. If I'm not correct me if I'm wrong.
Currently under the current contract, but of course, as the town manager indicated, if and when we were to go back out, if that's the path we choose to take, it would be significantly different. Okay. And that was already communicated to us from our current, from CAP Government Services, because their expenses have gone up significantly as well.
When does this contract expire?
January 2nd or 3rd of 27.
We have
It's the
6
first
more
week of
months.
January
Of 27, you
of
said?
27.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor, I know you wanted to go.
Yeah, I do believe that we pay a lot of money out to a company, probably a couple of $1 million, that a building official is probably what we probably need. But I kind of strongly disagree probably with the salary. When you say we looked at other municipalities, did we look at local municipalities and what they're paying their building officials? Or because when I looked up, I did my own little research, and I'm not a real good researcher, but you have just North Palm Beach, their starting salary is 82 with that, and Palm Beach Gardens is 115. So I think I want to know why this pay grade 170 was chosen for this person, and I keep hearing that the permit dollars will go towards the salary. Have we been using all our permit dollars towards this company?
We have to.
We have to.
Yeah, but have we been using all that? Okay.
And I will tell you, one of the things so that it's more clear, and we probably could have done it earlier, but we're going to do it in this year's budget. We are going to take the building inspection services and revenues and expenditures out of general fund, and we're going to put that in a fund so that it's more easily tracked and identifiable, so that there's no concern or any perception that monies are being mixed.
So how did we come up with that pay grade? That's like, did we?
What I know is that HR reached out and provided a question, like via a survey, to all the municipalities, and based on the responses that they received and the job descriptions that they received, this is the pay grade that averaged what.
When you say all municipalities, from like all of the municipalities in Palm Beach County?
I think so. I can't respond for Debbie.
Do this. If you guys give us the approval at least to go forward with this, and there's a difference in the pay grade, we certainly will bring that back. We don't want to overpay for it.
I don't want to overpay.
We're going to
Right,
be doing
correct.
a salary survey as well. We're recommending that in your upcoming budget process.
Yeah.
But the need to go forward now in case we do lose the contract is the reason why we're trying to do it now.
No, I agree. I agree that we do need our own building official, but I mean, we always get compared in other different situations where we're not Palm Beach Gardens, but we're going to pay our building official like we're Palm Beach Gardens. I don't agree with that.
Well, the thing is, again, I will say this: they hop from job to job. They hop from city to city. And so it's one of those jobs where it's, it's not just because it's a small city. It's because they have the technical
So basically,
licenses and expertise.
what you're saying is by going too low, we may outbid ourselves to other cities in terms.
You'll be continuing with your contract. You'll continue with that contract service because you just won't bring anyone in.
I was North Palm Beach able to do it. They're 82,000.
Well, just because that's their salary, their minimum, doesn't mean that that's where they're hired at. And again, we can go back and look at it. I completely hear with that the concern, and I have that. We don't want to overpay at all ever. We want to be fair and consistent as well.
You want to go first? Commissioner Linden. No, I guess.
I'm in favor of bringing this in-house. We've had this discussion over the years a couple times. The issue that I have is, I've mentioned a little bit about this last meeting, where I hate to put something in the middle of a budget, all right? And now we're looking at $200 and some thousand that we have to look at in the budget. And we haven't even seen the budget yet. So I don't know how this is going to fit in. So I would much rather hold off on this, one, to get if we get a revised pay schedule, if you would, and I want to hire a building official. It made sense, but those years that we were looking at, we had a lot of growth, quite a bit of growth, and our growth seems to have slowed down substantially in Lake Park. All right, so while the numbers are absolutely accurate, we can't project what the next 4 months are going to bring. Can we put this in the budget without a pay range?
Well, what we can do is we can bring back the pay range for you, just like we did at the last meeting. If you guys are, and again, here, if you're uncomfortable with that, we can go back out. We'll bring you back a salary we'll show you what the numbers are, and we can bring you back exactly where the recommendation is to fit it into our pay plan. So we can certainly do that as well. This would just give us the opportunity to move forward.
Before we do that, I still want to hear what the other commissioners have to say because it may differ.
The question was, can we put it in there without a salary range?
Well, we'll come back to you with the salary range. We should have a salary range whenever we go forward because we have to.
Then we could start advertising, but then you've got to come up with a minimum.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And with the last couple things that happened up in Tallahassee, that even plays into this because we don't know where we're going and how we're going moving forward and how much money we're going to actually
Well, the
have.
difference is up there, and that's a good question because what the homestead exemption will do is it'll affect our general fund. This is paid for just purely by the permits that we receive and people are paying, the developers, the contractors, residents. So that's why this slide is probably, we wanted to make sure you saw this was, even over the last, the current year, half a year, or a little bit over half of a year, annualized out, we're at almost $700,000. That's why Nadia's saying $600,000 in revenues. Last year, which was a slower year for us, you can see that we brought in 350. And that was a slow year. But even still then, you're still able to cover your cost.
It has to be paid out of the general fund.
No, it's paid out with permit fees. General fund is not included. In fact, state statute prohibits us from being able to use or to be able to use these dollars for general fund expenditures. That's one of the reasons why we want to take these costs and revenues out of our general fund inside of the budget process. You'll see this as we go forward and separate it out into like a special revenue fund or something like that so that it's more clear that and, you know, for the audit, for public transparency, that these dollars are only used for building inspection services or those types of uses that are permitted by statute.
All right, so it will not be another enterprise fund.
No, it'll be probably, you have like 6 or 7 governmental funds that you can use. It'll probably be, and Barbara can come up, it'll probably be probably like a special revenue fund or something like that, that will only have building permit costs and revenues inside of that fund. Just like you have, well, Barbara, go ahead.
So most likely, it will end up being a special revenue fund, and that way we will track only the revenues that belong to this fund, as well as all the expenses. So its share of the insurance, its own office supplies, its fuel for the town vehicle that it will use will all be segregated into that one fund. And the object would be to have revenues match expenses. Because we're not supposed to take in more than we need, nor are we supposed to allow the general fund to subsidize the permitting when they don't take in enough.
And Commissioner, I believe state law says that if we have more revenues than expenditures in 1 year, of course you reserve that, right? You save that like in your savings account. But state law, I believe, says that you can only hold those for so long, for so many years, and then you have to give them back. So that's one of the reasons why, you know, if we were able to save some of the dollars that we're spending today, we can do more community programs to educate on construction, on building, on how we can continue to, you know, grow our community through economic development opportunities, which we're not able to do today.
One last question. If we go ahead and do this, and we do hire someone, and we're short $50,000 at the end of the year, where's the $50,000 come from?
Well, again, proper budgeting, hopefully what's happening is the year before, we had a reserve. We can then bring those reserve dollars over, just like we would do with the general fund.
Do we have a reserve for this?
At this point, very little. But
That's because of the payout to cap.
and that's, yes, it's because of the payout to cap. So you would be able to negotiate a loan with the general fund. General fund will loan sufficient dollars with a reasonable interest rate for the permitting fund to pay it back, as we've done with the sanitation containers a few years ago.
Yeah.
We could do that.
But that wouldn't be something that I could sit here right now and I would recommend that we do. But you could see over the past 5 years, we've not gotten into that situation. In fact, we paid at the higher rate, and we would have had a reserve amount had we been at a lower number. So we would have been better positioned to support, you know, that loss if that happened.
All right, well, I'll reiterate what I said. I'm in favor of this, but my concerns are going in before the budget, actually, we see it. And
Absolutely, we'll commit to doing that.
And the salary the Vice Mayor Hensley brought up, that salary, I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. The more credentials this person needs, it's probably closer on the lower end, you know. So, okay. Thank you both. I'm sorry.
Just as a follow-up to the budget, since we need a place to start, we start with a position at that rate. It's not a guarantee that we're going to hire that person at that rate. It could be a lower rate. It may need to be a higher rate, but we need a place to start our discussion. And so by setting a salary, you now are able to calculate benefits, and you'll be able to see, do we need to raise our permit fees? Can we maintain our permit fees? Would we be able to lower our permit fees until you have your costs, or what you expect might be your costs, we're unable to move? It would be a spot we wouldn't be able to move forward to give you something worth discussing.
Okay, thank you. Good explanation.
Commissioner O'Rourke.
Nadia, I have a question with regard to the chart you have up there.
Yes.
Looking at we'll start with the first year, 20 to 21. We go from 638, I'm rounding off, I'm not going to do the three numbers at the end, I'm going to basically almost $3 million. That was when Nautilus came into.
Correct.
And you yourself were responsible for renegotiating with a different contract with CAP, wasn't that correct?
Yes, correct. That was when the contract was brought to the commission so that we could retain 50% of that revenue.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons for the increase at that point, right?
The increase in terms of what we retained.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. Now, as we move beyond that, we had less development. And as a result, we look at the number going down the following year, correct?
Correct, yes. In all of
Then the
yes.
next year, we have Avalon coming in, is that correct?
Yes.
And that's, again, where it goes up again. So, and then after that, again, it goes down because we don't have that development issue going on. But, and I'm bringing this out because there's two things going on that I want to discuss here and ask about. The first is the permitting process for the residents or for the smaller businesses or for smaller developments. Using CAP for that purpose it's not a real good idea because their fees are so great that it prohibits us from using their services for smaller projects. Would you agree with that?
For the minimum valued projects, yes.
Yes. So why is this position to substitute that dilemma there for smaller projects? Because I can tell you, I walk around town, I talk to people in houses that have permits, and they're really not doing well with the permitting process in the town right now.
And currently, we actually use, and I know you're referring to the CAP system, right? The CAP process. We currently use their workflow process because when we engaged CAP, at that point, we were still running permits on paper. We didn't have our own electronic process. So when they put in their proposal, it was looked at very favorably because they had their own workflow process, which we have since been using ever since we've been
adopted that
correct.
for our own use.
However, we are working on Tyler Technologies, which is estimated to come live later this calendar year.
Not there yet, right?
Not there yet, but being worked on heavily. And my understanding is that it's currently being tested, and by October 1st, we will have it available for the town and for the public to use.
That would be great.
And so we will transition from that CAP system to
Okay.
Tyler Technologies.
Very good. Thank you for that. Again, my point being that we need a system for the smaller projects and a system, if we ever get back to developing, to handle the larger development. Because, would you agree with that?
Yes, and we're hopeful that Tyler Technologies is being configured in a way that is a lot more streamlined and user-friendly.
Okay, thank you.
And Tyler is being used by actually quite a bit of cities, if I'm not mistaken. Commissioner Thomas?
Hello, Nadia.
Hi.
Couple of questions. Some of them, of course, have been answered. Where would we house this individual?
In the department,
What department?
community development.
Where?
We have an empty desk in the center of the department that has been there for quite some time.
That's not Anders' desk, is it?
No, no,
Is he here still?
no, no.
I just wanted to give him a little dig, sorry.
And,
I saw
screen.
Anders. Sorry, I had to do that.
And the idea with that is because the building official won't always be in the office, because, they'll be performing inspections and they'll be out in the field a lot as well. They will have that designated area, but then, of course, they will be out in the community as well.
Okay, because I'm like thinking they would function also as a plans examiner?
Yes, as they currently do.
Okay, so they would be reviewing the plans as a plans examiner?
Yes.
They would be doing the inspections for minimum, and I do want to ask you a question regarding what does the minimum value is. What is that? It's like 250,000, less than 1,000?
2,500.
2,500. Okay, so all of our, so those are like small permits, like fences, et cetera. And then when you say other values, we're talking about anything above that?
Correct.
Okay. Building officials are a unique profession because they have to have the understanding of all of the contractual, I should say, construction type skills. Okay, so whereby a plumber, I have to say a plumber, would probably ask for 300,000. I mean, not 300, 325 an hour. You have an electrician that would probably go 170. You have building that would probably go, a little less than that. So there is that specialization for that. I would agree that there is a need for us to bring this in-house. My concern is, and I will ditto Commissioner Linden, the timing, of it now. I think that it is appropriate for us to look at it and for it to be a part of our budget coming in. I am very concerned, however, that the contract is going to expire in January, and therefore would really put us somewhat at odds with CAP and what they would charge. I am disappointed the fact that more of our revenues that are coming in are going to them as opposed to curing some of the issues that we have here, which then brings to mind understanding that any of our permit fees that we collect would go to the salary of this individual. I want to ask our town manager, would those permit fees, could those permit fees also be used for building improvements, like persons who are having difficulty with bringing their house up to code? Could those kinds of fees be allocated, in that manner as a grant or whatever to improve, for improvements, because the property owner itself would have to, do a permit, but they don't have the fees for it, and somehow to ensure that the property meets minimum, standards. Could those fees be allocated or used for that?
I'm not sure, but we will find out. I know that they can be used for technology purposes and different things like that, that we are actually using some general fund dollars now. So if we can't do it that way, we can always pay for things that we're using general fund dollars to do that, but we'll find out the answer to you.
Okay.
On that.
I do have some concern too, as our permitting fees, as our development sort of tailors off, what that's going to look like to ensure that that position is consistently being funded. I had a major concern when we were talking about this a year and a half ago with law enforcement and what we came upon because there was a shortfall, and that's because we didn't get the revenues what we had anticipated, so that was a concern for me. This is a concern for me, but I see that there's a need too because our community is growing. I see that for larger projects, I could see us having those, having that contracted out. And a lot of communities do that, especially if they have vertical projects, large vertical projects.
That's right.
They will contract those, projects out. But the ones that are smaller or that were within town, they will allow for their in-house staff to address. I like this idea. I feel that if we're going to move forward with this, I'd like to see what the cost is overall for where they're going to be at Barbara, the housing for it, and all of that, so that when we look at it at budget, this is a budgeted, position, right? Moving forward with it. I would, however, like to see this as part of the budget, as opposed to seeing it now. I think that it's a good idea. Also, when this does come back to us, I would like to see the communities that were surveyed to come up with this salary. I know that it's competitive, but I think it provides a little bit more clarity and transparency to us up here if we know what communities were looked at or surveyed, as well as the town manager said that we're going to be looking at our pay grade schedule, because I will say again, there are a number of workers in our community that work for us that need their increase. So I do want to make sure that that is a priority for myself that I've made. That being said, I'm done.
Okay, I'm going to let this, before we belabor questioning, I want to let this public comment card go through. Ms. LaFontaine, I know you have something. Actually, if you could come up on the microphone. I know you're going to make it short and simple and sweet because you got exactly what you needed, but I need you to put it on the record.
Sue LaFontaine, 545 Evergreen Drive. Thank you. Thank you for the explanation. That makes it really clear how much money we can save by hiring a regular building official, but I was going to request a comparative salary analysis, but it's been done, so why not include it here tonight? So I hope it gets included so you guys can make a more informed decision, and then the town knows why you chose that salary range. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so just so, and I am in support of having a in-house billing official. I think it's much needed. I think the dollars we spent on a third. Did you have something, Tom, you want to add? Okay.
No, we're in discussion now?
Well, actually, you know what? Before we go into discussion, if there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the amendment of FY 2027 Town Lake Park pay grade to include new house building official, and pay salary be brought back to us during budget season.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second for a discussion.
Yes.
I
think, may I?
well, I was.
Oh, you were going first.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, thanks.
I'm sorry.
Appreciate it.
Well, you're
right.
supposed to be controlling the meeting instead of me interrupting you.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's okay. We work together as a family.
Okay.
So, it basically was simply just to say, I know you gave the comments about the permitting, how it goes up and down. Rest assured, going down is not really going to be something that's constant. I know this personally because my staff is the one that addresses residential permits, my direct staff. And I've already seen the numbers for next year, 2027, and they're not going down. They're not going down. In fact, they're going up countywide.
Can I see those numbers?
No. But I agreed. I think we should have an in-house person. I think it will help suppress a lot of costs unnecessary costs that we give to a third party that's only looking to make more and more money for themselves and not for the benefit of us. And I agree with my colleagues in terms of giving us more data as far as other cities, the industry standards. I agree with everything that's being said here in conjunction. And I'm only looking forward to seeing what that data comes back, because I think in the end, no matter what the true construct of all this is, we're going to be saving money and still getting the job done.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
That's the goal.
Commissioner O'Rourke.
Yes, I agree with what you're saying. I agree with this motion to approve this. But I think looking at sharing a position with a smaller community might be a good approach, and you mentioned that. I think that's something we should look into. I also think that contracting, when I pointed out the revenue ups and downs, I was alluding to development. With smart development in our town, the revenue is there to provide these positions. In fact, if the development was going the right way in the town, and you know my position on that, it's smart growth. We have projects that could be going forward, and we would have probably another $2 million over a period of time that we can put into that reserve that we could use to get a second position. I think we don't have enough people in your staff to do the permitting process for the local level and for the small projects. They've always been suffering from that, and it's something we did have it for a while, and then we went to cap because we had development. But having them in-house to be able to do that for our residents, for our smaller projects that people want to put together, is one of the things that we can provide as a really good service for this town. I'm not worried about the educational process as much as I am how much people have to pay for their permitting process to do a simple, put a deck on your house, something like that. Those things are expensive for our residents, and that, by using a smart growth approach, we can lower those expenses for our residents. Thank you.
As well as another thing is turnover of permitting process in itself. I've heard a lot of residents say that the turnover is slow from the beginning to the middle to even just the inspection after the fact when the project's done. I can honestly say I experienced that myself there, and I did a whole plumbing project, and it was quite an adventure, but it got done. So,
nothing further.
No, nothing else. If there's no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion passes 3-2.
I'm not talking.
Okay. Town attorney comments.
Thank you, Mayor. We have scheduled mediation of the sales at sea. In the sales at sea, not a case yet. That's where Forest removed their barge and was obligated under the agreement to replace that area with 4 floating docks, which they have not done. And so we're going to mediation to hopefully resolve that on June 10th. Thank you.
Okay. We'll just hold off for the town manager. I think he's... All right. Thank you for that. Town manager comments?
Thank you. Mr. Mayor and members of the commission, I know you guys have been getting a lot of emails and information from, particularly from myself, on what's happened up in Tallahassee recently, this week, in fact. And I just wanted to kind of give you a quick, heads up together on some of the things that we understand and what is happening. Of course, the governor called a special session on homestead, on property taxes. As you know, there was a proposal originally or discussion that property taxes were going to be, property taxes should be completely eliminated. During the special session, that was not the proposal that was considered, nor was that approved. However, there was a proposal that was finally approved and will be on the ballot in November for all residents in Florida to consider. And that proposal is that if the constitutional amendment is approved in November, beginning in January of 2027, there will be a progression of an increase in a homestead tax exemption. And it would start at, right now it's at up to $50,000 in two separate sections of valuation. It's essentially it's $50,000 up to $50,000. This would essentially remove that and say the first $150,000 of value of any homesteaded property in our community would be exempt from paying property taxes on that $150,000, and that would affect us beginning in fiscal year 2028. The second year, it would go up to the maximum of $250,000 for an exemption. So, of course, that is higher than the $50,000 that we have today. And what we are showing, or what we are seeing, and we're still working to confirm them, but we appreciate the property appraiser's office. And Mayor, I know that's your place of employment, so thank you to you and your staff and all the staff there. And Ms. Jacks, she's, I believe, planning to come here in July, I believe.
I believe our second meeting in July, she will be here to present.
And talk about this issue.
Yeah.
And right now, what we are showing is that, of course, our millage rate is 5.1 mils. We are, as staff, we're building a budget based on that millage rate. So we're not planning to recommend an increase to you all at all in the upcoming year. Gosh, I can barely see this. Right now, in the next budget year, we are proposed out of our valuation, which is up to $1.7 billion in our town. I believe, ranking-wise, we're like 24th out of the 39 cities in total valuation. We are proposed to have about $380,000 in ad valorem that will not be coming to us, but will be a savings to our community and anyone who has a homestead exemption. That would result in about a 200, on average, it's about $281.81 per homesteaded property. We have over 1,300 homesteaded properties in our community. With the $150,000 increase, again, if this is approved, would provide an approximate savings of $751.51 of town tax dollars, property tax dollars. It would result in an approximate $639,000 loss in revenue to the town if the $150,000 was approved. That would be also in addition to the $381,000. So it's about $1,021,000 over the 2 years that we would lose in our budget. Going into the third year, which would be the maximum of $250,000 of a homestead exemption, the community or those folks that have a homesteaded property would save about $1,246.12 on average. That would result in the town, though, however, losing approximately $1.6 million in revenue over those, at the end of that, or in that year. Additionally, the proposal that the community or the state will be voting on is bringing down the non-homesteaded property cap. Right now, those properties can be valued up to 10% on an annual basis. That is proposed to be brought down to 5%. We are showing, at least right now, that may result in an additional $125,000 of a decrease in our general fund cost, in our general fund budget. Now, again, these numbers, as of today, numbers will change, numbers will increase, these numbers will change. I will say that new sales in our homes, so as homes turn over, properties turn over, the new value or the new sales price or something close to it will go on the tax roll. Am I correct on that, Mr. Mayor? Similar to what it is today. So there will be a significant concern as we go forward, not in this year's budget, but going forward in the budgets after this year. So it gives us some time, if this is approved, to really, have a lot of conversations. I will say that when you lose $1.6 million out of your budget, out of your general fund budget, service levels will change. Customer service levels will change. The expectation of a lot of things will change. So we'll have to look at things as we go. Again, this may not even get approved, and we're going through this exercise, but I think it's important that we start talking about it. State statute does not allow us to advocate. It allows us only to educate. So we cannot go out into our community. We cannot put brochures out that say, hey, this is not good for our community, or this is really good for our community. All we can do is just present the information, just like I'm trying to do right now. Tom, am I okay so far?
That's you as a town administrator.
As us as town officials and a town.
I can't address that with people.
Individually as a citizen, but because you're also a commissioner, there's a fine line there. Wow. So we are going to have to rely on our community to understand the issues. I had a conversation with a reporter with the Palm Beach Post yesterday. I thanked him, in fact, for telling the story, because we may not be able to tell the story that maybe we really need to tell, or we want to tell. And of course, there's going to be savings to people. And just like me, I have a home, and it's going to be a benefit for me. But at the end of the day, it is going to affect the livability within our community. It may affect our parks. You go down to Broward County, they charge to use their parks. They charge to park. They've been doing that for a number of years. Not to say that that's what we're going to do, but these are the things that are out there that communities have already been doing, and I would imagine you're going to see more of it. One of the things that we'll continue to do is have community meetings, reach out to different groups, sit down with them, educate them, just like we're doing now on development issues or different things that we're doing. We need to find a way to tell the story of how this works and what's going to happen, and allow people to make their decision in November based on the information that is on both sides. I will say that inside the ballot language, it's very clear that the state did not go to the revenue, conference, or the forecast, their forecasting group or their revenue estimating group to determine the true impacts. But apparently, there's numbers out there that this is going to cost Florida municipalities and local governments $8 billion. So it's going to be significant. Some of the smaller, more rural communities, what's going to happen to them? There's talk about a trust fund to support needs that are going to need to be done. And that'll be like a grant process, but that's not funded. Our roads, our sidewalks, things of that nature that we don't have enough gas tax money that comes in now because of the size of our community. Those things may be affected. Potholes may not be able to be fixed as quickly. Paving may not happen for a number of years. These are things that you all as elected officials will have to be talking about throughout our budget processes going forward. So again, I wanted to bring that up. We'll continue to put stuff out on the web. We'll continue to work with Merrill to do videos so that we can educate, and we'll be available to meet with community groups as needed so that we can sit down with them and take the time to make sure that everyone has an informed voice on what they're doing and why some of these things, are important for our community. So, and I do want to say thank you to, Barbara and to Nadia. They've spent a lot of time analyzing these numbers over the past few days and helping me to make sure that we put out good information. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I did want to mention that we will have our red, white, and blue sunset celebration at Kelsey Park on Friday, June 26th at 6 p.m. We'll have our fireworks show start at 9 p.m. And, really, really encourage our community to come out. It is really a great fireworks show, and Ria Needy does a great job, her and her staff and Public Works, to make sure that it comes off really, really well. And then, that's it. That's it for. I'm sorry. We have a guest here that I wanted to invite under my report, Sebastian with Jet Set. Of course, as you know, the fields reopened after Jamie, did what he needed to do on the fields, and it looks beautiful, and the grass is great, and appreciate what Public Works has done there. And Sebastian, of course, has had a number of kids benefit from it in our community, and just thank you for being here.
Good evening. I'm Sebastian Osorio, and I have been with Jet Set 7 years. I'm the manager of the club. I'm coming here to say thank you to the town of Lake Park, the mayor, all the people that is here, and the managers. Really, we have been having an impact with the kids that are here, and I want to say thank you for having the field for us. Like now, really is like an amazing field, one of the best fields that is around. When I invite teams, they say like, we didn't know this field was here, and they are really grateful for the work that we are doing with the kids. A little example of what we are doing for the community. We have some families of kids with 4 or 5 kids that really, if we were in another park, they would not be able to be there because they just walk to the field. The parents are not around them to being able to take them to practices or be with them. And also, we have some of the kids being in an hotel for the first time at 13, 14 years old, traveling with our team. So it's a big impact that we can do with the community here. Also, we do like a lot of tournaments, little competitions for the kids in the community that are almost free for them. And we have more than 100, 200 people like coming to play with us. And this week we have the summer camp that we always do with the town. This has been my sixth year working with the town, and I really appreciate that. And you're gonna, like, if you want to stop by these days, I know some of you will go there on Friday. So really, thank you for everything that you do for us, for opening the doors for us, and let us work for the community. And right now we just are working. I want to work harder for them and grow the program more. Thank you so much.
Well, I just want to say, Sebastian, thank you, and also to Jonathan and the whole JESSEP team for what you do for our community. It's good that people do things without receiving any thank yous or anything. You guys go above and beyond the means of what you are. And I hear a lot of great things about people that are very happy that you are a part of our town. So it's wonderful to hear that, and it shows nothing but more positivity and more influences that we have in our town to bring people out and let them know that we have something for you here that you can do, no matter what part of life you're in. Thank you to yourself. Thank you to your team. And I know Friday you have the big event, the award ceremony. Unfortunately, I have to apologize to you. I won't be able to make it to that event. I was there last year.
Yeah.
But my colleagues will be there, and I'll be happy that they'll support us and represent us in your award ceremony. But again, I speak for myself and everybody. We do thank you for what you bring to the table as far as your program.
Thank you so much. And yeah, a little part of really how I feel the community. I live here. I marry here with my wife here in the town hall. I'm part of the community. I really feel like a parent for all the kids that we have here. And yeah, we want to work harder for them. Thank you. And also we want to serve you however we can. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, and of course, they have their awards at 11:15. I'll bring my boots so that we can have a proper game or shooting. I lost. We'll see how that goes on Friday. But I do want to say thank you to this commission. Thank you to former members of our commission. Our staff, Riuniti, Jamie, Merrill, so many others that have been involved in improving that facility. It's benefited not only on the surface for the kids and the residents, but also below, that so many people don't and will not know, unless they saw what was happening there and what happened. And, Ms. Mary, thank you, and so many others. And you guys, thank you for all your support, for these programs. And Sebastian as well, thank you. And hopefully we'll be able to do something further and continue to help with our kids in our community. So thank you.
All set?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner O'Rourke.
I have nothing.
Just out of curiosity, who are you rooting for tonight's game?
Let's go Knicks.
Okay, just to let the record be known. Commissioner Thomas.
I'll make this brief. I just want to encourage the public to come out to our June 16 mentorship symposium. And this is for anyone who's interested in running for public office. It's a desire of ours that, I've said this before, that when you come to this meeting, you should bring the future with you. So I'd like for anyone really who's interested in coming, but most of all, the young people, so that they can get a really good knowledge on what it takes to run for office. And I'd like to see them sit here. So it's June 16th here in Town Commission Hall from 6:30 to 8.
What time?
She just says 6:30 to 8.
From 6:30 to 8 here in Town Hall.
Commissioner Linden.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I really didn't have a whole lot. I got one today that I assume that all the commissioners got it and the mayor. Alan Friars, the mayor, he was a good friend of Lake Park, very good friend. He passed away, and his celebration of life is the 6th of June. And we have plans on attending because, like I said, he was just a good friend of ours, and he liked Lake Park. That was really, really good. So that's about it, I guess.
That's it? Okay. Vice Mayor?
The town manager said enough for me for 2 meetings, so I have nothing.
Okay. So I, again, thank you for coming out, Sebastian. And thank you for giving us that announcement about the symposium. I also have an announcement for the 20th, which is that week, that Saturday. I'm trying to do just an engagement for the community, and I'd like to extend it out to my fellow commission members. You know, we make decisions up here, we do our due diligence, but sometimes you got to unwind and just kind of enjoy yourself a little bit. And I thought a good thing would be, and again, you and I, Commissioner O'Rourke, we're recreational guys. We've been a part of the recreation departments in various municipalities. So I thought maybe just a little bit of fun could play a role in here. And what I did was talk to recreation and try to set up a kickball, kind of like a field day to play kickball and dodgeball. One, I feel it's the most easiest thing to set up as well as the most inexpensive as well. And I know Rianiti has been working diligently. She's as far as getting our setup together, and I will contribute as well. But it's on June 20th from 10:30 to 1. Again, I would encourage you guys, be a part of this. Let's come out together, be a part of the community. I know I joked earlier about Summer Santa making an appearance, but for once, let's take a moment just to savor what we have, and that's a wonderful community. Enjoy the people that we share this community with, and just have a good time. Interact with the residents, interact with the kids, and I encourage the residents to come out, because of course when you have kids, it's always good to have chaperones. So we encourage all the parents to be there with their children, so that way we all can be a part of this great community that we live in. Have a little bit of fun, have a little bit of discussion, talk. And it doesn't have to be about necessarily what we go through on our day-to-day basis in this town in terms of decision-making and what you guys feel about where the direction of the town is going. It's simply about enjoying your neighbor's time and enjoying 3 hours of just simple fun. So that's my intent. If it's wrong, I don't want to be right. Because I want to have a good time with my community. I want to have a good time with my commission. Town attorney, if you want to come out, because I know you've done softball. You can throw a couple good fastballs. I know you've kicked the ball, so come out and kick a few balls. Let's just have a good time for once and not have to worry about the burdens of what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So again, June 20th, Saturday morning, starts at 10:30. I believe, just so if you guys have something going on prior to that, and it ends at 10. Oh, then maybe you guys can come out too and enjoy a little fun. This is about community, not about misery. Okay, we want to get everybody out there. We want to have a good time, and we want to just enjoy a day. So again, please come out. We'll probably start advertising. You can reach out to Jamie.
Jamie, are you barbecuing?
We'll figure things out as we go. We'll figure things out as we go.
Are we going to have a bounce house? I would suggest we don't have a bounce house.
Yeah.
But maybe we could have like sack races for the kids or something like that.
Well, our intent is right now dodgeball and kickball. If this becomes a popular thing, we'll add more components to it later. I figure right now the basics are good. And again, everybody please come out. But aside from that, I'm looking forward to it tonight because my team is in the finals. And I wish for all your support as my Knicks can bring home a title.
Rianiti, are golf carts allowed on the Bert Bergstrom grass?
No. I can answer that for you, no.
Okay.
So if there are golf carts there along the outside of the park, it's the field itself, outside the fence. Yeah, that is a 100% special grass. So with that, I have nothing further. So if nobody has anything to add, I will entertain a motion of adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Go Knicks and good night.